Hi, I'm Stephen McCormick, MSP Community Manager for Tubblog, the hub for MSPs. And joining me today is James Steele, the MSP Community Champion for cloud computing provider Linode. Hello, James. It's great to have you with me today.
Stephen, I am so glad to be here. I have to say, I think I've been a fan of Tubblog since the early days of my career. Really, it's been an indispensable resource. So it's kind of a bucket list thing. Yeah, it's very exciting to get on and be chatting to you guys finally.
Oh, thank you, James. You give us too much credit. Thank you. Now, before we start, as a bit of background, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at Linode, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. So Linode is historically, really very popular with developers and with businesses too. They're very keen to get into the MSP space, and my role really is to represent Linode and Akamai within the MSP community. So that involves everything from making sure that we're out there and listening to partners at events, to making sure that the full partner experience is the best it possibly can be when interacting with us, and also into sort of coming up with marketing initiatives and that kind of thing. So it's a fully encompassing role, but a go between the business and the MSP community.
Google, Microsoft, and Amazon are often mentioned as the big three cloud providers. Now, where does Linode fit in the cloud provider market, and what is it that Linode does that is of more benefit to their customers than, say, maybe the big three can offer?
Yeah, it's a really good question to start with. I mean, obviously, most of the MSPs I talk to, they are using one of the hyperscalers, as we call them in the industry. While it would be lovely to think that MSPs might say, "Okay, I'll abandon all my accreditations and move from from the hyperscaler that they're entrenched with," totally, it's not our message. It's not realistic. But every customer they come across, I know, has different requirements. So different requirements, different priorities. Where Linux is required, we offer a choice. So depending on what the project is, so it's another option in your stack. In lots of cases for SMBs, it may well be, particularly for SMBs, it may well be a better fit. So in my experience of working with MSP specifically, the first one tends to be price. So I would never recommend to any company that they go out there and they try and compete solely on price, but you can't really get away from it. Linode is around 30% of the price of AWS. So that's if you're looking for like an EC2 AWS equivalent. Particularly as we head towards the economic downturn, that provides partners with another option that may be more attractive to their customers, but also another option that perhaps their competitors aren't providing. So it's a case of really offering choice. The second reason is the quality of support. So I mean, whether it's to discuss like a cloud migration, or perhaps you've got a specific technical issue, all partners can pick up the phone and speak to a Linux certified administrator. So that's our kind of baseline for the level of certification our support team has. And that's 24/7, 365. So unless you're spending a lot of money with one of the big three, I think you'd be doing very well indeed to get that kind of experience. And that's one of the reasons I was so keen to come on board, actually, was that I could see, support is so important to MSPs that makes it,
it really is, isn't it? Yeah. Just being able to just pick up a phone and being able to speak to somebody directly, it's something that you can't really do without. So that's great. And what about the third thing?
So the third one is really, it comes down to sort of simplicity. So if you imagine AWS has 200 services, just to spin up a simple server does require a lot of configuration. There's lots of things that they can do that we don't. But if you're after storage, compute, you can save an awful lot of billable hours on complex server configuration by simply using Linode, where we literally select an OS, select a server level, select a location, and you're away in under a minute, should we say.
Brilliant. Okay, so if I move on to my second question, Linode have recently joined forces with Akamai. It's been all over the presses. How does Akamai complement what Linode already provides, and what exciting developments can we expect from this partnership in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the acquisition was actually another of the key reasons that I joined the business, because it is an exciting pairing. If you think about everything you want to do in the cloud, it all gets easier when you've got, scale, locations, services, capabilities, at scale. What the Akamai acquisition lets us do is it obviously lets us provide significantly more scale, of course, but it also ticks a couple of really important boxes that we didn't have before. So we focus on compute, storage, but what we didn't have was that content delivery network and that, obviously that incredible security layer that they offer to push that out to the edge. So, I mean, you can imagine if you could provide all of that under one roof, the compute and the network, the security, that's a really exciting proposition, because you can basically offer a best-in-class cloud hosting right to the edge solution at scale. Yeah. The reason it's so important to us is that it also lets us differentiate ourselves from other providers, perhaps that would have previously maybe been termed as in the same group, like the alternative cloud providers like DigitalOcean and OVH Cloud, Hetzner, and those guys. So yeah, there's an awful lot on the roadmap. We're rolling out a lot of new locations to begin with. Obviously, that's quite high up there on the priority list. And I think into 2023, it's going to be very exciting.
Brilliant. So we're going to shift focus a little bit here and talk about cyber security. So as we know, cyber attacks have been on the rise for at least as long as I can recall. But according to a recent study that was conducted by RMM provider Enable, they believe that 90% of MSPs suffered a successful cyber attack within the last 18 months. What do you think are the challenges unique to cloud providers in cyber security, and how does Linode specifically handle their security? Is it baked in? Is it already integrated, or is it something that you adapt on a per customer basis?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, I can really believe that stat. You can't move anywhere, can you? Really,
no, it's everywhere, space. Isn't it?
Yeah, security is obviously the top priority. I think there's a number of elements. I mean, obviously, one of the main things we're trying to do is stop attacks that involve maybe the server being compromised and then used for malicious purposes. We offer a free DDoS service, cloud firewall, VLAN, VPC to protect servers from attacks. The other element is we do quite a lot of work on the content side as well. So a big element obviously is user behavior. So if you have a look, we partner with people like Hacksploit to provide training courses on this stuff, and pretty much every bit of content we put out has some sort of element of security mentioned in it. Of course, the other element is, as we were touching on earlier on, now being part of Akamai, we have Gartner top right quadrant services, industry leading services, things like API security, zero trust security, account takeover security, and probably one of the best DDoS solutions out there. So we're really in a very good place to be offering a high level of security to our partners.
Brilliant. Now it's fair to say you've been quite busy recently. You've attended quite a few meetups, including KubeCon in Valencia, Spain. You also did some fantastic interviews when you attended CompTIA's ChannelCon in Chicago.
Thank you.
And the CompTIA community meeting in Bristol, where you chaired a Q&A panel of MSPs that were talking about some of the biggest challenges MSPs have to face today. If I could ask you about that panel session, what would you say were your biggest takeaways from that event? And maybe if you pick one of each, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's been a busy period, definitely. In terms of the event itself, I mean, one of the messages from that and other events is really that in-person events are back, and there's a real value there. And definitely, it was really nice at that particular event to see people just getting together to bounce ideas around business challenges. And I have to give a shout out to CompTIA, because those events, specifically, are very good at being able to, to enable that sort of free flowing conversation and sort of problem solving between partners. So really, really good to see that. To the event specifically, and obviously content is very important. I mean, cybersecurity, that was the first topic. So we got cybersecurity, recruitment, and growth.
Mm-hmm.
The cybersecurity side I really liked because they were talking about having the confidence in your own knowledge and abilities, basically. So if you know a security solution is best of breed and that's what your customers should be doing, then don't settle for anything less, but offer them that.
Mm-hmm.
Charge your worth, use the vendors as well. So, don't be afraid to lean on vendors if you don't have the expertise. But the main message there I took away was, if a customer's not interested in that, in taking your advice, maybe they're not a good fit and maybe you do need to walk away. Easy for the established ones to say, of course, and not so much for those that are sort of rising the ranks, but good advice, I think.
Definitely. And what about for recruitment then? What was your big takeaway there?
Some interesting chats, some interesting points coming out of that. I think the one that really resonated with me was this basically, don't try and recruit the finished article. That's really, if you recruit a third line engineer and they're willing to move from one business to another, it's quite possible that the same thing's going to happen to you. You're going to pay top money, and are you going to end up with someone that's loyal, and are they going to potentially move on pretty quickly? It's quite possible. Instead, try and think more long term. Recruit people for perhaps the soft skills, the attitude, aptitude. So you're getting the right person, you're molding them with your company culture, and empower them, and so hopefully they're more likely to, you think they're more likely to stay around longer. And that's certainly what the panel was saying in their experience across the board, really.
Yeah, I mean, it does make perfect sense that if you put in the time and the effort to train somebody up to be very good at their job, they're more likely to actually stick around, I think. So I think that's an important one, especially where the talent pool for greater skills is a bit small at the moment. So I think that's a great attitude. So if we move on to growth, then what was your takeaway there, would you say?
Well, this is always going to be my favorite one because it's more in the sales and marketing area. But one of the things that really stood out for me was it was actually Andrew from Abyss, I think, came up with this. It's his approach, and it's about being uncopyable, which I was a little bit skeptical at first when I heard that. But actually, I can see how it really is a good approach. Basically, what he's saying is, pull together your approach, have a unique approach to how you do things, how you understand a customer's requirements, and how you interact with them. Know your services, package them, but also package your SLAs and every element of your service, and actually brand them up. Actually have a name for each different, if you've got, say, 2 tiers of service, or maybe even 3, have a unique name and tier. So basically what you're saying is, look, when you come to compare a quote with a competitor, it's going to be very difficult because what you're offering is something that is unique to you. And when you do that, it allows you to charge a premium. And when you charge a premium, there's more money coming in, and then you can offer a better service to your clients because you're earning more. So I thought that was a really nice point, and it obviously is working very well. And I have seen that, at play. So yeah, that was the one that really there was a lasting memory from that session.
Thank you. Right then. So moving on to my next question, I've noticed that you've started to do a monthly roundup of news and resources for Linode partners, similar to our very own Tubservatory.
I don't know what you're talking about. Absolutely not. As you know, I've never looked at Tubblog. Yeah, right. It's inspired. It's a great format.
But one of the items that actually caught my eye there was Linode partnering with Code Cloud to deliver certifications on deploying and maintaining Kubernetes clusters. So is the certification side something that Linode might continue, or would you say this is just a one-off?
Yeah, I mean, I think the certifications and education piece is kind of, you could probably think of it in a group, and we try and, unlike some of the bigger providers, we try if we can and make it so that you can be self-sufficient. There's basic training in the portal, but you don't need certification as such, certainly to use our services. But you can't get away from the fact that we are, we're an infrastructure provider, right? So you are a blank canvas plus tools to help you create your project, whatever it might be. So it's important that we need to find ways to make that happen. Those talented developers of today tinkering and taking part in things like we do a hackathon. So there's a small period of time where developers come along and produce a product, and it's incredible, like the standard of some of the applications that get developed. Some of them are probably better than some of the commercial stuff you see, honestly. So you can see the talent out there, and it's really important that we're providing the education and certification to help those guys become startups and then become the successful businesses of the future that we really want to work with. We do a lot of our own material, so you'll see that in our YouTube and our docs, but we also do a lot of collaboration. So things like this certification with CoCloud, we do educational series, ebooks, partner with Manning, Learn Kubernetes, Nigel Poulton. We also partner with your very own Richard Tubb, who's produced an ebook for MSP to educate about the alternative cloud. So education, certification all rolled in is a very important part of our future and how we see us helping our customers.
Absolutely. So we're coming to the end of this time now that we've got, James, but I just wanted to ask you, so what's next for yourself and for Linode? Is there anything in the pipeline for the rest of 2022 or into 2023 that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, since joining the business, I've been having an absolute blast, working hard, but having a blast just getting out to community events, really representing the business. And that's been a huge amount of fun. So I'm looking forward to some more of that, more content creation, and making sure that, we can tell the message basically at scale about the business. Obviously, next year we're going to see far more in the way of interaction with Akamai, and hopefully leveraging some more of the benefits that partnership brings. So, really excited about kind of more of the same, and making sure that we're a brand that is well known in the MSP space, but also in making the most of the Akamai relationship.
So watch this space. Right. So if anyone has been watching this, wants to get in touch with you, how's the best way they can go about doing that? Or if they want to find out more about what Linode offers, how can they do that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, a good way actually is to come and check out. I run some sort of introductory partner webinars. So if you just want that 30,000 feet view, you're more than welcome to come and join us for half an hour. And we run through everything about the products and program. You can find that on Linode/events. If you'd like to speak to me directly, please feel free to connect on LinkedIn. Be great to say hi. Also, the Digital Steel on Twitter. We have a special promo, which is that you get $100 cloud credit for 60 days. So if you want to use that, you can head on over to our site. And of course, as a Tubblog listener, if you want to hit me up directly, we can make sure that you're well looked after and that doesn't run out too soon.
Brilliant. I just want to say that anything that we have mentioned in this video, we will be adding those links into the show notes there for you to go and peruse at your leisure. I just want to take this last opportunity to thank my guest today, James Steele. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. My life's work's complete, as I said. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thanks, Stephen.
Excellent. So that was James Steele of Linode, and I've been Stephen McCormick for Tubblog, the hub for MSPs. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.